Hi there, Tanya here. So, we are now at part 7 of my book on going from grief to greatness. And part 7 is all about the foundation that really got me through everything, and that was my spiritual journey. Whilst I talk about the ability or the need to be physically resilient, emotionally resilient, how to have resilience in your relationships professionally, how to have meaning and purpose in your life again, the greatest one for me personally is to have a spiritual life, a faith, something that got me through, something greater than myself. And I share with you very deeply in this final part my journey of faith. It started when I was really young, when I bought the winning ticket, and it has got me through everything. Not only my 30s and my 40s, but just recently too, in the recent passing of mum and dad. So I hope you enjoy the radio interview. Hang around and have a listen. Bye for now.
Well, it really is the foundation beneath everything, and that is our spirituality, God, and our beliefs. And this is the foundation, or at least part of the book, From Grief to Greatness. And Tanya, are we finishing off this series today?
We are indeed.
So this is the
big
last
finale.
chapter.
Yes, it is.
No, this is a fantastic place to finish. Like Diane said in the introduction, in some ways this is foundational. But just, I suppose, looking at all the other things in life and basically coming to the conclusion, if we don't have our spirituality in order, then the house ain't going to be right?
Look, this is the foundation to all of the other chapters. And a part of me wondered, should I put this at the very beginning?
Yeah.
But no, it just felt right to end and say, even though I've given you all of these other strategies and other areas of your life where you can go from grief to greatness, I personally couldn't have done it without the strong foundation of faith and trust and spirituality, whatever it is that you call it. That belief in something greater than myself was what got me through.
I mean, you've called it in the book the winning ticket, the thing that actually is the thing that, with all the other things, this is the thing that's actually going to see you through, right?
Yeah. And that little snippet in the book, The Winning Ticket, it's a little story of when I was a kid. I was 4 and I bought a raffle ticket. And it was this picture of Jesus, and I won the raffle.
Wow.
And I can't tell you the joy I felt. I can still remember that. I don't have many childhood memories that young, but I can still remember how excited when I was when I won this picture of Jesus. And I kind of feel that I was on a winning streak for the rest of my life after that. That's why I call that little bit the winning ticket.
It
I
kind of
love
is.
it.
It's like winning lotto every day with Jesus, except without some of the financial temptations, perhaps. There we go. Hey, look, I appreciate that this book is for everybody. It's not just for people that are coming from a spiritual perspective. Was that a concern for you at all, that you're being very open about your life and some of the challenges you faced? You're being also open about your faith in the book. Were you concerned about including this aspect at all?
Yes, I was. I'll tell you what I was concerned about. The first time I wrote the book, I didn't write as authentically and as deeply as my faith,
Yeah.
as I've had. And then I went, you know what, Tan? You need to be, if you really want to serve God and do God's work, you have to be unashamedly writing. And that's what I did. I started from the beginning and I
Wow.
said, let it out. This is the truth, because I could not have done this without my strong faith. So yes, I was worried because I
Yeah.
wasn't being authentic first time round.
So what did God show you through your grief and, ultimately after that as well?
Trust in Him,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what. He was walking beside me, and I had a deep level of acceptance that I feel could have only come from God. Even when Phil was first diagnosed,
Yeah.
during our infertility, everything, I just always came back to, I will trust in your will for my life, and I accept this. And sometimes I used to call it a cross. I'll accept this cross, and I'll carry it gracefully, because for some reason you believe that I can carry it and you have a purpose for me. So
Yeah.
that is what I will do.
There's been many different stages to your journey, and you're very transparent with some of the tough times in this book as well, through your husband's terminal diagnosis and him passing away, and the struggles and difficulties that you had with that, and but also more recently, I suppose, with the pandemic, the impact that had on your family. More recently, I mean, it's one thing, I suppose, to say, hey, I had all these problems back in the past, but since now I've got Jesus and everything's perfect. But even during the pandemic, things really tough for you and your family, Tanya.
Yeah, it was really, tongue-tied here. They were actually some of the hardest years of my life, this last 2 to 3 years, watching Mum and Dad decline and being separated from them. And they were separated as well. They weren't in the same rest home for a lot of that time. And the grief, the pain, I now look back and go, gee, I don't know how I did that, but I do know how I did that. And many, many days I suffered the grief a lot, but I just kept saying, Lord, your will be done. And, the thing that I held was, Lord, if they do go, then I know they're with you. And that's what helps me now. But, and during the pandemic, I just made the decision not to go to a place of fear. And we talked a lot about that in the early days. Just don't go to a place of fear. Let faith be that first base that you go to.
Tanya, it was so helpful. I remember a lot of those conversations. Now, it sort of ends with this idea of discovering your own winning formula, because maybe what works for you or what works for someone else may not be your own formula to getting through. How do you talk about this?
Well, a lot of my life, I have tried different things to help me through, whether it be the eating issues, the grief, whatever. Some things worked, some things didn't. Some things work for my clients, some things don't. And what we often do is we tend to forget that we can trust ourselves in our decision making. So learn what works for you. You don't have to be exact with what someone else is teaching you. Just trust yourself. Pick up all the strategies that you can, but finally decide for yourself, yes, this is what feels right for me. I always say take that journey within, because if we don't go within, then we go without. We keep listening to all the other noise around us. So trust yourself on this process. There'll be 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but carry on and go forward again.
Wonderful stuff indeed. And I think fantastic to end with, I suppose, an honest discussion about spirituality and how that's a foundation for everything. Tanya, thank you again so much for your generosity. This book, I know, will make a huge difference in people's lives. Thank you for, I suppose, unpacking some of the major themes over the last few weeks. As we are heading to Christmas now, look, this book is available from late January, I understand, but who did you have in mind? If people are thinking about, hey, that sounds like a book I want to get, who is this book for, in your opinion, Tanya?
Anyone who's been through adversity, whether it be grief, loss of job, loss of identity, people who have struggles with addiction, because I talk a little bit about that in the book. But you know what? If you want to make your life better and get a few strategies to help you along the way, then this book will be a great guide for you.
Tanya, so looking forward to when it comes out, and very much enjoyed the conversations over the last few weeks with you about this. Of course, people can check out what we've done online at rhema.co.nz. All the interviews are up on there. But at the same time, you've got a YouTube channel and other means that people can check that out too.
Absolutely. All over social media.
Tanya, is it possible for people to pre-order online on your website? Is that something that they can find out more details about, so that they're, if you like, first in the queue when your book does come out?
Well, what I do know is that it's already on Amazon. There's no image yet, and it did say that you could order internationally, but I would wait until my copies come in.
Okay.
I will actually make an update on my website, but I'll announce it more closer in January than I'll have.
Okay, well, if people follow you on social media, they'll be one of the first to know. Tanya, thank you once again for being on the program today.
My pleasure.